romance to royals now. It's been reported that the late Queen Elizabeth was not very happy with Prince Harry and Meghan when they chose to name their daughter Lilibet, which we all know now at least was the late monarch's family nickname. According to Robert Hardman's latest book, a senior palace member said the Queen was as angry as I'd ever seen her over claims she had been supportive of the choice. I mean, it's all such hearsay when it comes to these kind of stories. I know he's a very well-respected source. However, no one, maybe he was, but I certainly wasn't in the room when this chat happened, Janice. So we have to come from that perspective to begin with.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But, I mean, what do you think of your experience?
I just think that Queen Elizabeth led a life that was 99% in the public eye. Privately, her closest family called her Lilibet. That was the family name. It wasn't out there. It wasn't used, you know, commonly used in public. Certainly Harry knew that was the situation. I know that Harry called her and told her when Meghan was expecting. So I do think that there is a possibility that she might have felt very peeved that they were using a name that was her private, personal name. I mean, absolutely.
I suppose the one thing I can understand potentially from that is because her life was so public that
Exactly.
maybe did feel like a very personal, private thing, something that she wanted to hold dear. However, if the conversation did happen, like we are told it did, where Harry called the Queen, we all know the Queen's very willing to stand up and say yes or no. What do you think about it, Brenda?
I mean, you know, people are saying it was a private name. If it was so private, why did we know about it in the first place? It can't be that private. And I think Lilibet, is a nickname for anyone that's called Elizabeth. It's just that maybe you would say the Queen or instead of saying Lilibet. That's I think it's kind of stretching it a little bit. For myself personally, I can't see that they would have got away with naming it if they hadn't had that conversation. I really don't. But me, I have named my children Jamal's Brendan and Tanisha's Brito, and that's a name from my parents. And I didn't ask permission, because obviously they weren't here, but I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I think it's just a mark of respect and keeping a legacy going.
But they're second names, do you see? They're second names, they're not their first names.
But it's still, nobody doesn't really have the copyright on a name. A name is a name, and if you want to name that person, you should be free to name your child whatever you want to name.
I do think, though, a lot of people were surprised at the time simply because Harry and Meghan had left the royal family and gone to live in America. And a lot of people, and certainly in the paper, said it sounded like, was almost like crawling back, you know.
It sounds to me like a source just wants to bring up old things once again about Harry and Meghan, and I'm really not. It's a name. It's a name for a beautiful baby. Just allow it.
It's your opinion, though.
Yeah.
We all have opinions about it, and I think that we all...
But everybody goes up in arms when it's a Harry and Meghan
thing.
They all go up in arms when it's Harry and Meghan. If it would have been somebody else, maybe would they have been up in arms? I just, you know,
for me, I think it's just a real complimentary thing. If you, like my little girl's named after my Frank's late mum, and my little boy's named after my dad, and I actually just think it's a really lovely thing because we love them. We love their parents. It's a nice way. It's just a little nod to tribute and love. But they're professional baby name consultants out there. Apparently, probably cost a fortune, but they can go and choose the name for you. Let's just do that next time. It was absolutely no fuss.